All right, so since I can't be with you guys today, let's go ahead and do a quick review of how to draw the tips of your fingers. Now, one of the things that we really want to focus on today is to draw big. Okay, so let's clear this. Now, if you have, ooh, it's going slow, um, your sketchbook that you're looking at, okay, so your sketchbook, and you've got the spiral binding that's right here, okay, just like that. I want you all to draw big, okay, not small, okay. So the last thing that I want to see when I come back is to see a series of fingers drawn on the page like this, okay. We don't want to draw that way. We want to draw big. So with your pencils today, I am totally fine if you are only getting 2 fingers per page. Okay, so something just like this is absolutely fine with me. Now, let's go again quickly over how we need to draw in our sketchbooks, how we're going to break these down into the shapes that are going to help us get the proportion and the scale where it needs to be to get an accurate drawing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say right now that after this video is complete, I'm going to go in and do a drawing that has gradients to it, or I'll take a picture of something that I did in my sketchbook and I'll tack it onto the blog so that you guys can see exactly what I'm really hoping for you all to achieve. Because what's going on in here right now is I can only really work with contour line in the amount of time that I have. Working with value in this kind of digital painting program that I'm using right now isn't going to be something that's quick and simple, kind of like it would be for me to do in the classroom in front of you. So these drawings that I'm going to do are going to show you how to accurately break things down and kind of create those rough contours, those shapes that you're going to work from and work within to kind of add your value and to start building up the realism that's necessary. So today, what I want you all to do is focus on any finger on your hand. It would be great if you could get a thumb and um, one of your index, middle ring, or little fingers drawn in there. But I want you to work on getting the top, and I want you to work on getting the side. I'm not really too concerned with the pad of your finger. It's very kind of plain and devoid of major information. It's kind of like the back of your hand. There's not a whole lot going on there. And when we do these very kind of posed portraits of our hands, if you will, we're going to be seeing fingernails. We're going to be seeing the sides of fingers, and we will be seeing the fronts of fingers, but the pads of fingers, but they will be fairly simple and straightforward, just like some of the other smoother areas of the hands. But where your fingernails are is where a lot of really, really important information is. So right now I'm going to start by looking at my index finger, and right now it's sitting down very, very close to my drawing tablet. And my drawing tablet that I'm working on my computer right now is black. So there's not a lot of light being reflected up onto the underside of my thumb. The light is coming down kind of in front of me and down onto the top of my finger, but there's really not that reflected highlight that you see that we talked about on our value handout that I gave you guys. So right where the hand goes into its darkest area, right before the edge, at the bottom, in that darkest area, there's really not any kind of reflected highlight down there because the black surface of my tablet's not mirroring any of that light up onto it. So let's start. I'm going to keep my finger a little bit bent, kind of like Captain Hook. So if you're making a Captain Hook kind of shadow puppet hand, take your index finger and bend it into a hook. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I can see a very small portion of my fingernail from the vantage point that I'm sitting at right now. So let's start breaking it down into shapes. So we know that we're working with rectangles. So I'm going to draw big. So I've got this whole screen to work with here. The top of my finger, the way that I'm looking at it, if you put your finger into that Captain Hook kind of pose, you will notice that that traditional rectangle that we talk about really kind of gets turned more into an upside down trapezoid. So if my finger is doing this right here, and this is the tip of the finger right here, I just drew this section right here. Okay? Now the tip of my finger is going to come off this way and this way. Okay? And it's going to start to kind of come up right in this area, and then I'm just going to go ahead and connect that back. And that's a nice, from where I'm sitting right now, it looks fairly accurate. There's definitely going to be some refining that's going to take place in that shape here in just a minute. And then I've got the area that goes down towards the palm of my hand. My finger gets thicker back here. It's going into the palm. Right about here is where the palm of my hand takes place, and this is kind of the muscle of my finger. I've got the other finger that's kind of coming in right over here, and then this hits the knuckle and goes down into the back of the hand, right here. This area that's right in here is not something that I'm worried about, so we're not even going to get involved in that, because really we're just focusing on the finger. I'm probably not even going to get into this digit down here that's close to the palm of the hand. I'm really just going to focus right in here and right in here right now. So let's go to where all of the major information is, and that's right here at the very tip of the finger. Now, if you look at your fingernail, for me, when I look at it, right where my fingernail ends and kind of the skin starts is literally right here at the middle section of the tip of my finger. So this kind of rounds up. There's a dog barking outside my window, and he's really obnoxious. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it or not. Alright, so kind of comes in, and then it pops up just a little bit right in here, okay? And right here, where this cuticle kind of area is, it comes down a little bit into the finger. It's going to come up to about right here, okay? And then right in here, it's going to kind of start to curve up just a little bit, and that's about where the fingernail is going to be, right through here. So right about like that. Let's go ahead and get this arrow out of here, get this construction line out of here, keep everything as clean as possible. Now, my fingernail does something weird. It kind of lifts, it's sitting a little bit up from my fingers. So since I'm drawing big, if I'm going to try and get that realism, go back a step, if I'm going to really try and get that realism there, I am going to come out right here, and I'm also going to put a very, very subtle little mark right there, okay? And what that little bit right there is that's my fingernail curving around the other side and disappearing back behind the tip of my finger. So if you look really, really closely, that is one of those subtle little things that you'll start to see. Now let's kind of start to refine the front of the finger. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. There we go. That's a little better. Comes up kind of like this. This area kind of comes down right in here, and I can see the crease in my finger right up into here, just like that. Now, we take some of this information out of here because we don't need that. This bit that's right here kind of comes down all the way it already was, and then right in here, I can start to create this middle section of my finger. And it kind of curves up, and somehow or another, I got that contour fairly spot on right off the bat. It does curve up just a little bit, so come in, take some of this out of here. I might be exaggerating it just a little bit, but right here, my knuckle kind of really wrinkles up. Does one of these things, okay, kind of slopes back up into that curve that I just drew down, and here I have a lot of wrinkles and creases right here, right here, okay, and then really I don't have any of this. It's right in here, okay, but I do have some really creased up skin on my finger right here, 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 and then I can start to see how this starts to come out down here towards the palm of my hand. This bit in here, where this wrinkle is, drops down, and then it comes up, right like this, and then this is kind of a very, very dark, shadowy area right through here. Now, if I come back to my fingernail and I look really, really closely, something I'm starting to see now is some of the cuticle. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw a little bit of that cuticle. Again, those little things that add the realism. Okay? So I'm constantly referencing my finger. Now I'm a little bit older. My fingers, my hands are a good telltale sign of age. I have some wrinkles that are kind of forming cracks in my skin. It might be dry skin, but it's probably because I'm older. That are kind of showing right through there. Those are the types of little subtle details right there that I would leave out until very, very close to the very end of my drawing. The same thing is going to happen with the palm of your hand when you're drawing the palm of your hand and all of those creases and folds. The one thing that I want you to do is I want you to hold off on those until you get a good majority of your value completed. Because what's going to happen if you start to add those in there too soon is you're going to start to leave them alone, leave them dark, and not build anything in around them. You're not going to start to build up the value of the hand, which I want all of us to get a lot of great value in there, good contrast. That good, excellent contrast range is going to create realism. And so if we immediately go in and start to draw those really fine details with the tip of our pencil and make them really, really dark, chances are they're just going to get left the way that they are. And we'll just leave the hand at that and not continue building any more value to them. So here is a fairly good example of how the finger should look when you start coming in to add value to it. Now, like I said, my light source is up here. So, okay, coming in down this way. Okay, so highlights will be roughly in this area, down through here, a little bit up here on my fingernail, and then it goes into pretty strong shadow down below. Now, it doesn't highlight all the way up to the very top. This area right along through here, it's not drawing, this area right along through here, and this area kind of right along through here are actually kind of a mid-tone, okay? So the highlight's really hitting strongest right here and right here, fades into the darkness down in the bottom areas, and you have a mid-tone that highlight fades into right at the top. So be very, very aware of those areas, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to snap a picture of the hand or the fingertip that I drew today and show you guys really what kind of value range I'm looking for, and that picture will be posted up on the blog for you all to take a look at. I hope you have an excellent class today. Try and get as much work done as possible, and I will see you all again on Friday. Have a great day, ladies. See you later.